Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be working on this 1985 Fourtrax 250. We got it to start in the last video. So I ordered up some parts for it. Got a new drive shaft. The old one was broken, like right here. So hopefully this one will be good to go. Put that in this rear end. We'll put the rear end back together. We're going to take this brake apart, see if that's what's seized up. Also ordered a bunch of parts. I got a new petcock, a fuel filter. Came with this cheap hose. This is just cheap Amazon parts. See if we get this thing running and right. Here's the new air filter, oil filter. I think that's a new throttle cable. And then a cheap Chinese carburetor. I've had decent luck with these. They're not perfect, but for the price of this, you can't even really clean the carburetor on there. I will be keeping the OEM one, and if this bike runs and rides well, we'll go through and rebuild that carburetor. But I just figured we'd do this just to see if we could get it to run, you know, more than a few seconds. So we'll start by taking apart this rear brake drum. All right, so hopefully this thing isn't going to be a bear to get apart. This looks like 10 mils on the top. It's nice and greased in here on the seals and stuff, so someone's had this apart or took decent care of it. That came apart pretty nice and easy. See what's holding this one on. Oh, duh, I probably gotta take this bolt all the way out. A little bit of dirt packed in there. Now I think these will just come off. Might need a little tap from a rubber mallet. Yeah, it's pretty crusty in there. Let's see. I don't want to lose these. These are these bolts all have their washers and stuff with them still, so I'm gonna set this in a little tray. All right, I think this is just a drain. We could pull that though. Let's see what that looks like in there. Yeah, it's a little crusty. There's definitely been water in there. Yeah, there's nothing in there now. Oh wow. You guys see all that metal or like corrosion coming out. It's moving though, that's a good sign. This is an aluminum cover. Now I'm just carefully prying on this since this is aluminum. You don't really want to do this, but with these old Hondas, sometimes they're hard to get apart. And this is just the cover. Oh yeah, she's locked up. It's all corroded in there. Yeah, she's not moving. All right. It's moving. This is awesome. Usually these are a bear to get off. That or the pads are coming off the back plate. No, this one wasn't stuck too bad. This machine really looks like it's been pretty well taken care of. I'm going on both sides so it doesn't get cockeyed and then get seized on there. It's gonna pull the whole pads off. Oh, there we go. Well, there's a brake pad, so we're definitely seized up. And guess what? I didn't order brake pads. I didn't even think about it. So this isn't horrible. I'll just sand this a little bit in here. But maybe we'll just... I'd hate to put it all the way back together to tear it apart to do these pads, but yeah, we're gonna have to order brake pads. All right, so since I'm waiting on brake pads for this and gear oil, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rear end back together, and then we'll set it in the bike. We'll take the carburetor off, put the new petcock in. Maybe I can put it on 4 wheels while waiting for that. We'll let the motor warm up a little bit, change the oil, and put a new air filter in it. All right, everybody. I know this video is kind of skipping around a little bit, but that's due to not having parts. So I got new brake pads for this rear end. So I went ahead and installed the new pads. We'll put the drum back on. Then we'll put the, we're gonna re-pull this whole swing arm out because you cannot get the drive shaft in there with that on, and I did not know that. I also ordered a new boot for this in between where the drive shaft connects and goes through the swing arm. That was missing, so I ordered a new one of those, and it's still not here yet. So I'm gonna finish assembling that rear diff, then we'll take the seat off, pull the tank, empty the tank out, change the petcock, put that Chinese carburetor on there just for now, put the new air filter in it, see if we can get it to fire up. I also have a new battery for it too, see if we can get this electric start working. So I'll go ahead and finish putting this back together. You just put this brake hub over that and then the cover and then bolt it down. And I'm gonna have to take these bolts or nuts loose because they mount into the swing arm, and I didn't know that when I tightened it down. So I'll update you guys when we get to that point. All right, so I got the rear end back in here. I'd put these shafts in wrong. I'd put in these bolts like there. That was wrong. I found that out when I was putting this hitch back on. So I fixed it on both sides. The reason why this took so long is I was waiting for this boot for the shaft. That took like 2 weeks to get off of Amazon. So got to go and hook up all these vent lines, tighten everything down, put this vent line on this side, put the hubs on, and then it'll be ready to roll. So I'll update you when I get it all back together. All right, so I got the rear end all back installed. I'm missing the adjuster for the handbrake line, which kind of sucks, but I'll just get a new one. Put air in the tires last night. They're all still holding air. These front tires are definitely worn out, but they'll work for now. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this thing off. I don't know why this is on here. Take this wooden thing off, take the seat off, take the gas tank out. I got a new petcock since the other one's clogged up. Just a cheap Chinese carburetor for now. I'm gonna save the OEM one. New air filter, came with an extra clip. Oil filter. The kit came with this throttle cable. I don't know if I'm gonna need it or not. I guess we'll find out when we put the carburetor in there. New battery. This battery came shipped like this. But it's got a little bit of a gouge in it. They did refund my money. That was kind of a process. I've had these parts for a couple weeks now. Go and put the new battery in, and then put fresh fuel in it, run it for a little bit, and then we'll do an oil change. I want to get the oil hot before I drain it. Alright, so here's underneath. This thing's pretty dusty, but we still got the clips, rubber mounts for this thing on there. I think it'll clean up pretty good. Go ahead and take the seat off now. A lot of pine needles and stuff in here. We'll vacuum all this out. Vacuum out the airbox. Let's go ahead and get these covers off so we can get the tank off. Well, that came out pretty easy. There's the tank. Set that right there. Here's the carb. Pretty dusty. Yeah, I have no idea how long this thing's been sitting. Your guess is as good as mine. Looks like somebody used some baling twine to put the carburetor on. And this looks all, must be missing a bolt. That's not good. Means the threads are probably chewed up on that side. All right, I'll go ahead and pull this air filter out. And I think I'll pull this whole box out. Get the carburetor out of here a little easier. Undo this baling twine. Interesting. Didn't notice that before. Hopefully that doesn't give us problems. I'm gonna vacuum out all these pine needles too. All right, so I went ahead and pulled the airbox out of here. Here's the carburetor. It looks really clean. I'm wondering if this is a Chinese carb too. So we got to go ahead and I pulled these two screws out, pull this cover out, disconnect the throttle cable, and then disconnect the choke right there. Undo that baling twine, and I'll pull this out and we'll have a better look at it. All right, so I got the carb out of there. It's definitely an OEM one. Doesn't look too horrible. Looking at it compared to this Chinese one, there's obviously some differences. I don't know what to go with here. Maybe we'll pull the bowl off of this old one and just see how it looks in there, and if it's not horrible, I'll clean it real quick and we'll use this one. It's a little crusty on the outside, but it doesn't look horrible. Just dropped off the fuel line. I think I want to go with the OEM one. I'm going to pull the bowl off and then we'll decide from there. It's kind of crazy, all these hoses sticking off this thing. I've heard these are really kind of complicated carburetors, so we'll see. You can definitely smell the old gas coming off of this thing. So I'm taking it apart in this oil pan, or drain pan, so I don't lose any of the screws or anything. I mean, that doesn't look horrible. I think I'm just going to clean this up and use this carb. They're a lot better than those cheap ones. Some gas down in there. Float's not stuck. So yeah, I think we'll just spray this out, and I'm going to just use this one. And then if there's issues with it, we'll just use that aftermarket one. I'm going to try to find a clamp for that front mount. I don't really want to use baling twine. Yeah, it's pretty crusty. The bowl's the worst part. Supposedly this is like a plunger or something. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know anything about these carburetors. I've never messed with one. But this definitely isn't that dirty. This thing probably would have ran with this carb. So we'll pull the jets out, take a look at those, spray it out with some carburetor cleaner. That cheap carburetor came with these little cleaners for jets. So I'll run these through there and spray them out, reassemble it, and then we'll see how it does. Because this aftermarket one just doesn't look quite right. And I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not an expert on carburetors, but this, when you give it throttle, this isn't coming up. And on that one, it does. All this does is move that butterfly valve, or whatever you'd call it. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it works, but I don't know. So I want to use this OEM one. I'll just save this in case I ever need it, or if that one just won't run with that. So, all right, so I got the carburetor all apart and just partially cleaned. It was pretty clean in there. None of the jets were plugged, so I just sprayed everything off and wiped it out. Here's the hold for the float. This literally looks like an old nail that somebody cut because they lost that. Somebody's definitely rebuilt this carburetor, so it really wasn't that bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. And then for missing a clamp, the new carburetor came with this, and I already tested, tighten it down, and it'll fit on there, and then we'll just cut that off. And it'll be better than that baling twine. And then we're gonna drain all the old fuel out of there, even though it was empty when I got it. I put a little bit of fuel in it when I tried to start this thing, so I'll dump all that old fuel out. Then we'll reassemble everything and see if it starts. All right, so I kind of just quickly vacuumed all those pine needles out of here. It's not perfect, but like I said earlier, we're gonna pressure wash this. Got the carburetor all back together. Gonna go ahead and install this in there. And then we'll put the new air filter box, or the air filter box, back in a new filter, and then clean out the tank and see if it starts. I don't think this is an OEM carb, and I'll tell you guys why. So this on the bowl doesn't match. I went every other direction. It's the only way the bowl will go on the carb, but it's got that on there like that, I think, and that doesn't really look like a key-in symbol. So I think somebody just put a Chinese carb on there anyway. So we'll see how this one does. If it's horrible, we'll just put the other Chinese one I have on there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and hook up the choke and the throttle, and then we'll slide the carb in there. All right, there we go. A lot easier than fighting it, trying to push it in there. Go ahead and tighten down this clip. You want to make sure these clamps are tight on stuff because they'll get an air leak and they won't run right. So I'm gonna cut this and then put the Airbox in with the new filter. So this thing's pretty filthy. Go ahead and take this old one out. At least it's still got it's missing the lid, but at least it's still got the air filter box and all these clamps and stuff. Yeah, this thing was done. It's probably this same one. Just take this off there. Looks like somebody put it over, unless that's an inner filter. The heck? Oh, this twists off like that. Yeah, the whole filter's just falling apart. Try to wipe all this old filter material off of there. All right, I just vacuumed that out real quick. These filters don't feel like they come with any oil on them. I'm gonna spray some oil on this. Oh, it's blue, cool. Okay, put this clamp on there. All right, so I got the filter on there and oiled it up a little bit more. That was not fun. I don't think this is the right filter. I got it to work though, for now. Got these boots tightened down, carburetors tightened down, throttle works, choke works. So what I'm gonna do now is there's a bracket that goes across here I'll put back on and then bolt this airbox back in. So that's all back together. Go ahead and drain that fuel out of that tank. See how that looks. Just probably drain it into this drain pan. I didn't put much in there. All right, here's the new one. Let's see how tight this thing is. Looks like it's been leaking for a while. I'm gonna go set this somewhere else so I don't knock it and spill gas everywhere. That came loose pretty easy. That's actually not horrible. I'll probably hang on to this. You can rebuild these. Let's see, there's a gasket in there. I don't know if I need to remove that one. I don't think so. Screw this new one on. And it doesn't fit. This must come out. Must be part of that one. Let me get some needle nose pliers. I don't want to break this trying to get it out. These things swell up with ethanol fuel, and it's 40 years old, so I don't think this has ever been changed. Yeah, look at that. I got it out though. I'm gonna go drain the rest of the fuel. I'm glad I left a little bit in there to flush out that. Spray this off a little bit. Okay. Now let's see if this fits. Yep, perfect. Just gonna tighten this up. I'm not gonna go super tight. Last one of these Chinese ones I bought leaked. All right, so I got the tank back in here, running a new fuel line. I'm gonna put a fuel filter in it. So I'll get this all cut up and put it all back together, and we'll see if it starts. All right, I got it all back together. Went ahead and threw a new battery in there. Let's see if it's gonna turn over, and I put gear oil in it. Cool, because that wasn't working before. All right, let's check the oil. Put some gas in it, see what it does. Glad the electric start was working. Wasn't working when I was trying to kick it or jump it. Just go ahead and grab a rag, make sure it's got oil in it. See, what do you guys think? I think it's gonna fire right up, but I'm not sure. All right, so I had an issue with the camera. It didn't capture the first start, but it started pretty easy once I put fuel in it. So I'll go ahead and start it up for you guys. Oh, it's not neutral. I just went and took it on a little test drive. But starts up and runs good. Took it down the driveway. I'll do an update video when I clean it up, and we'll do a test drive on it. Hopefully you could hear me over the engine running. I'll do another video after I clean it up, and we'll take it on a test drive. Thanks for watching.